In this video, I want to show you how you can create your own guitar instrumental, your own solo guitar piece. And I'm going to share the main problem that I see many people face and my solution to it, and how you can also come up with something like this if you like this kind of music. So first of all, I see a lot of guitarists try to create by starting with chords. So if you're starting with chords like C, A minor or something, I mean, it will sound nice, it will sound interesting, sound like something you might have heard before, but it's not very exciting. It misses the main ingredient in music, which is melody. So if you're just playing chords and there's no melody, you're stuck with something I call background material. Like, imagine watching a film and the background shows you mountains and stuff, which is really interesting, but nothing is really happening. There are no characters. So you can imagine that the chords are like the ambient, the settings, the surroundings, and the melody is the main character. So if you just have something like this, like a chord progression or a riff, maybe sound good, but again, it's background material. There's no real thing that can hook you unless you're really into that. And I know some people who are only into background music. But if you want to create something that also says something, right? Because the melody is like a character with scripts, with monologues, dialogues. It's a whole personality and characteristics. So what I see many singer-songwriters do is they play a chord and then sing on top, which is definitely one way of adding a melody. But you're making your life a little bit too easy and maybe a little bit predictable, because you're going to use chords that you had before. So the melody will probably sound like something you had before, which is okay. Nothing wrong with that. There are many songs that have been written with the same 4 chord progressions. But again, what I want to show you is a different approach, something that works for me and my students, where you start from the melody. And what I played before started with this. So I came up with the melody. How to come up with the melody? There are a few methods to do so. One of them is singing. I've been practicing it for many years, so I don't have to sing it anymore. When I hear a note and then another note, I'm hearing in my head what should be the next one. So I have this melody in my head and then found it in the guitar. Once you have a melody, again, my melody is this. That's what I came up with. I want to show you how you can start with something simple and progress it into a whole guitar composition. So what you want to do is find some notes, and you can actually use what I use. I use the A minor pentatonic, but not just the box you probably know, but spread it across the fretboard. For example, the A minor pentatonic on the high E string would be open, 3rd, 5, and then 8, 10, 12. Okay, so that could be your material that you can play with. So then you can choose a few notes to say something, and then a few more notes, and then a few more. Right? You just basically use your ear and try to come up with some notes. The idea is not to play lots of notes. The idea is to come up with phrases. Same way that you speaking, a period at the end, a question mark, exclamation mark. Right? So the idea is to have a phrase of a few notes. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5 notes. And then usually we take a break, and then we say something new, and then another thing, right? So the same way we speak, we want to speak through the guitar. It's like 4 notes. So what I've done now, for example, I played 4 notes 4 times. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how you can create something that sounds interesting and using the same scale. You can't really go wrong when you play inside a scale. It will sound good. The next step I want to do is add a bass line. So you can imagine what I came up with, or what you can come up with, is lead guitar. You bring in the bass guitarist that uses those bass strings like the E and A strings. And then you find notes that can complement, support, embellish the melody. So what I've done, I played the open A when I landed on that note. Because what you want to do is find which note needs support, which note needs a bass, right? It could be this one, or could be the first one, could be before, could be the third, it could be every one of them. And what you can do is actually experiment. So back to your music, let's say again you chose, maybe the 4th note could be with a different bass note, and you can always use open strings, why not? By the way, the open strings will mostly be inside the key, so they will sound good. At the same time, you can find notes that are fretted, okay? So this is where you can either use the knowledge if you have one, build the knowledge if you don't have, or experiment and use your ears to guide you. And the idea is to have a bass line. So my bass line was this. And that could be enough. It's getting shape, right? There's a melody, there's one layer, there's a bass line, another layer. And the next step, what I usually do is bring in the next guitarist, which is the rhythm guitarist. If you can imagine the top line, which is called top line, the melody, and the bass line, in between, you have a space. And that space is where the rhythm guitarist can fill in with rhythm and chords, if possible, all notes in between. So for example, like the highest note is C. It's the G string 5th fret. The lowest is an open A. So basically have one more string, the D string, and I can play another A note here. Right, kind of repeating, adding some element of rhythm and kind of a chord. It's kind of an A minor chord. Right, here I'm adding an open D. By the way, I chose G here as the bass. Why? Why not? You can use any one of them, right? You can improvise even notes that are outside the key. The main thing about composition, this is a side note, it's giving yourself permission to explore, experiment with the unknown, because that's the key thing. It can be scary, and I understand why people get scared by composing from a blank canvas, because it's the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen, and you feel that you won't succeed. But if you train yourself to be in that zone of the unknown, and you create more and more and more, you're going to boost your confidence, and you're going to create, and you're going to feel more comfortable with it. Like anything, this is a skill. Composition, creativity is a skill you can practice. You should practice, because, I mean, that's what music is about, isn't it? Back to like here I did an E. This is the melody. And then I added a C note. Kind of felt correct, felt right. So this is my A part. Melody, rhythm. And then The idea is to repeat it again and again and again, make some variations if you want to, and then move on to a B part, right? Because usually we want to hear, like in songs, verse and then chorus and then verse and so on. So this is where you can use the ABA form that I usually use. It's very effective. It's short, not too long, not too short. And the B part will give you some kind of contrast. So for example, if the whole movement of my A part is towards the left, if you're thinking that way, and then the B part, the contrast of the B part can go to the other way, move up to create again that contrast. So then this is what I came up with later. I came up with basically the same notes, but instead of going down, I'm going to stay up again to create this opposite feel of moving forward instead of moving backwards. And then using the kind of the same idea. I have a C here and using an open G, some kind of rhythm with my picking hand. And again, that's how you can do it. Basically, I'm using notes that I felt were correct or right for what I'm doing here, and play with this kind of bass note, C and B. And then to create even more sense of movement forward, added the D, which is also an open D string, and play with some kind of melodic notes over here on the B and G string. So for your B part, again, if you went in one direction, go to the other direction. If you didn't go to any direction, just think what else can be contrasting. So for example, if everything was 4, how about the second part could be either less or more, could be just 1 or 2 notes. Or it could be many notes. Right, that kind of contrast. There's no right or wrong. And again, I know what I'm showing you now is not exactly how you would do it. I'm trying to inspire you. But just know there is a process. Okay? And I'll recap everything at the end so you can actually do something with it. And if you need help, feedback to whatever you come up with, you're welcome to join my school community where this is exactly what we do. I help my students create their own music and they share it, they get amazing feedback, and we're very supportive. And you can try for 7 days. I can give you the guidelines to create something really short that will sound great. So after coming up with the B part, then you go back to the A part. And the A part can be the same. Or you can have traditionally some kind of changes, some variations. For variations, again, you can use your ear and use something that I don't see anyone talking about. Use mistakes, because mistakes are probably the best way to come up with interesting ideas. So I'm going to try to make a mistake now. Since I didn't make any mistake, I tried to make them deliberately by changing some notes, adding notes that are not exactly in the same scale I've been using, just to give some contrast and interest to the last part. So here's my recap for you, what you can do. You can use the A minor pentatonic on the high E string, come up with 4 parts. Again, every part can be just a phrase of 3-4 notes. Repeat it enough times so you can get used to it. Add a bass line, could be just open A, D, E even, or if you know some notes, you can use fretted notes from the same scale or key, then add some rhythm in between. For the B part, do something completely different, something contrasting. So for example, if you're playing 4 notes, then the B part can be more or less notes. Or if you're moving mostly towards one end, make the other contrasting part towards the other end, and then go back to the first part, make some variations, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.